and welcome back to another exciting episode of Tackle Productions. Today, I'm being joined once again by Trevor.
Hello!
And today is something special. We haven't done a lot, but we're doing a box opening. I know it's really... No, get this shit out of here. We're opening My Hero, which is an interesting set, because it's not Dragon Ball, but we've done stuff like this before. We've opened Digimon before. We've opened a Doctor Who playset before. But My Hero was one of the games that both me and Fluff, something we were interested in back in when we first started the channels. If you want to go to the archives and look at some of the Dungeons & Dragons videos we were doing, there was a mention of this game. 4 years later, it didn't come out. But Trevor picked it up. Trevor has both the starter decks, I think.
Yep.
And it looks very interesting. And you know what? Maybe we'll get back into it. But we got Trevor here who's going to be doing the unboxing of it because it's something he's super hyped about as well. So, Trevor, let's take it away.
Yeah, so this is set 1. Obviously, it's the only set that's currently out. We're going to be having set 2 come out later this week, which is kind of why I wanted to kind of look into it a little bit. And just
straight silver. Just straight, generically clean packs.
Yeah. Well, these are
these
are Quark Packs. So each box comes with a box topper, and then 2 Quark Packs. So each of these will have one of 5 cards in the set.
Gotcha.
And then these are part of. So what they've done is they have a first edition set, and then they also have like a reprint set that is literally just comes out after the first run. So this is part of the reprint set because it saved me a few dollars.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So
these are legitimate like promo type cards.
They are basically promo cards.
Okay.
So just got into the game. I have basically zero knowledge. So I'm kind of learning it as I go. And I felt like a good way of doing that is just buying a box and seeing what I can make inside a single box and just try it out with friends. So here, shock absorption, massive flash freeze, infinite potential, natural leader, improvised blade. I hear good things about this. Someone with style.
Oh, it's the card's name.
That is the name.
Oh, it's not his what?
Pulled a character. Awesome. Jiro. Pop.
So for those from what I've gathered so far, characters are, if you're familiar with the game, put it in the comments. Like, tell us more about the game. Tell us, should we get into it in your opinion?
Please do.
But character cards are kind of like leader cards.
Yeah, so you can have more than one in the deck, but you start with one in play. In most cases, you are only going to have one in deck, because if you try and play it, it'll just go to the discard pile afterwards.
But they manage your life and hand size for the game.
Correct. So they manage your life, hand size, as well as your deck creation, because you have these 3 symbols on the side that will, and your deck has to share at least one symbol across the entire set of cards in the deck. Mm-hmm. So, for example, Jiro has, I believe this is air. This one's air. Good and all, I believe is what this symbol is. So basically you would have to have all your cards either have one of these 3 symbols across them. Mm-hmm. So your your character card effectively determines what kind of deck you're going to be able to use as far as the cards that go into it because of that. Instant Shining Flash. And an extra rare pull right out the top. So Dark Shadow Ruin. Oh, it's got a bad foil line right across that there center.
Oh, yeah.
But, not bad for a very first pack.
Sure.
Dark Shadow Slash. Tight Lit. Blinding Kick. Flying Thruster Kick. Release. Improvised Blade, Amplified Sound Blast, Precious Lesson, Nervous Habit, and Touch of Decay. So
okay, that's just the extra type of.
So yeah, so the way they work is all cards, the way their foiling works, whereas like Dragon Ball has foil and non-foil rares, and then SRs and SCRs are all just foil. This game has rares and super rares that are naturally foiled, but extra rares can be commons, uncommons, rares, super rares, or secret rares with some kind of different form of art on them.
Gotcha.
Usually, from what I've seen, it's like zoomed in, or they'll kind of put some
kind of how we did
stamps kind of stuff on top.
Boosters, where you can get like a hollow after image, or you get the unique after image.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So corrosion lunge, and that's like 3 to 5 per box is the average. So sometimes you can end up with more than that. Sometimes you can end up with less than that. Brute Strength, Electric Jolt, Specialist Sound, can't be fixed, Zero Gravity Capture, What's Their Plan, and You're So Obvious.
Yeah. Just move this slightly there, make it easier.
We'll probably kind of, to make sure the video doesn't go terribly long, just kind of speed a little bit through these, but still show the cards as I go.
Well, as you go through them, is there a particular deck you're trying to make?
You know, kind of like I said, my idea presently is kind of just to see what I can make. Ooh, our first ultra rare pool, Staff Strike. And see what characters I pull out of the box, and then just see what I can make with what's in the box, just to kind of better understand what the game is, outside of the 2 decks that come in the rival set. Ideally, I would like to make a Kirishima deck because he's my favorite character, but he's also the only character that already has an errata on him. And because of an interaction with him, he got one of his cards banned as well. So,
oh wow, okay.
It's unfortunate for me in that sense, but he's apparently still playable. Everything has topped, aside from like 2 symbols in the first set, which is very good for a set 1 card game to have that much variety already kind of set up in it. Suit. And Coordinated Effort. This is the card that is banned.
Oh, really? Let's see this real quick. So, is it because of the response potentially, or the deadlock enhance of it?
I think it was more the build effect on it.
Gotcha.
Because you were able to just get so much foundation set up so quickly between Kirishima's effect as well as that you were able to go crazy aggro too consistently.
Gotcha. So yeah, response commit after you block an attack resolves. Build it face down. Don't know what that means right now, but the deadlock does unflip one of your foundation cards. Is unique similar to how it was prior?
So unique works just like it does in Dragon Ball. One on the field at a time.
Or
one in the card pool.
Yeah, card pool, that's what it's called.
In this game. Trace Sheet Cape. Rare. And then our extra rare is Fulfilled by Duty.
So many packs we get in a box of these ones.
I could not see anything on the box that made any sense. I mean, you can count those packs out.
Contains 24 My Hero Academia packs. So it's your standard box. I think Digimon comes with 24, and Dragon Ball is 24 as well, if correct. Yeah.
Meteor Shower, our second ultra rare pool. Not bad. Looks like we have the makings of I believe that's a life deck with 2 of our ultra rares already, Staff Strike and Meteor Shower. But I kind of on a whim bought the rival set because I was kind of wanting to do something a little different while we were waiting for the next set to come out. And I just seen on another YouTuber's channel that covers Dragon Ball had kind of covered this several months ago. And it just kind of popped up in my YouTube suggesteds as I spend way too much time on it. And I was like, you know what? I'll call around. I'll see if anybody in town has them. And we have a few shops that carry the product. Nobody's currently doing any local events or anything, but maybe if we get enough people to try it at our shop, we can convince our shop to let us try it.
You can only hope. Ask our Digimon community.
Yep. I think one spot in town might do events. I think D20 might. Shigaraki.
So I will say one of the things I like about this game, and I'm going to do a call out. I do enjoy Digimon. My only concern with Digimon was that it felt like there was a lack of interaction between turns. And I may be wrong with that, but every deck I've seen, every deck I've played, it's kind of like, all right, cool, I'm going to do my turn. We'll see that life. You have a blocker. That's about it. Dragon Ball, Yu-Gi-Oh, had Magic have like ways of negating attacks, stopping stuff from happening. This game does the same. Like you play a card, which I guess when you put a card in the card pool, the attack is immediately being established in that moment, from what I've gathered.
After you do the check.
Yeah.
To make sure it actually goes through. Yep.
And that's for the card on top. Like, so if you play this card, you need is it right here? You need a 5, right?
Yep.
And you flip the top card of your deck, and typically the bottom number here represents what that is. And then you have to tap cards in your mana. You didn't see the air quotes, but your energy-ish area, which have numbers which I think correspond.
So when you tap them, you're just adding +1 to your check.
+1, okay.
So unless says specifically on the card text, commit, gain plus to check or something like that.
And I see normally it ranges between a 3 to 5 is what I've seen. This card that each got banned does have a 6 on it though instead.
So the main reason you're seeing that is it's usually between 3 and 6. A lot of attacks seem to be lower on the check side and require more to use, whereas the foundation cards, which are cards like this that end up in your mana for other effects, usually have a low check requirement but a large check value.
Yeah. And the more cards you play during your turn into your card pool, additional checks are needed. So like your first zone, I think up to 5 zones from what I saw, but I guess it may go up more. Or is 5 the max?
You can go as much as you want.
Okay.
So it's just each time you go up, it's progressively harder because it'll add +1 more check. It's just the map that shows you how to play the game only goes up to 5 for obvious reasons for space. Otherwise, it would go on infinitely.
I pulled these leaders aside because I think it's interesting. The way the game works for those of you who are unfamiliar with the game but are familiar with the Dragon Ball Super card game, there is a Broly card. It is if I'm correct, the set Broly. I don't think it was it was a set Broly, if I'm correct. Where on swing it, you draw back up to 6 cards.
Starter deck Broly does that.
Starter deck Broly, okay. At the beginning of your turn, you draw up to the card's number. As you can see here, it has a heart. That is your character, your life. So I think I've seen 28 so far is the highest I've seen so far.
Yeah.
But is in this case 7, 8 life health points worth 1 extra card advantage in some instances.
Yeah, it's not something that I presently know, other than like seeing some various content creators go over the recent topping. It seems like having the less health but more card size is usually more beneficial outside of like very specific decks. Sue and Ochako both run high card hands and low health, because they have just really strong packages that they can run. And having that extra hand size allows you just to do a lot more on your turns. I think my favorite part so far about being just recently joining the community is there's a giant, huge Nomu meme following. It's one of the characters that starts with 35 health, I believe, and has like a low hand size, but a lot of people like playing it. So it's definitely something that I have no context for whatsoever other than the community page literally just being half Nomu memes. But it'll be something that'll be interesting to kind of look into as I learn the game.
And what I've seen, you draw up to whatever the number is there, and that balances out for during your turn and during your opponent's turn. At the beginning of your turn, you draw back up, which, if I'm correct, you can discard up to one card, right?
Yeah, so the ready step starts by restanding all of your cards, and then you can it enters review step, where you can choose a card in your one card in your hand and place it in your discard, and then you draw up to your maximum hand size. Because, say for example, you're trying to go for a kill turn, you're not going to need a lot of foundation cards. What you're going to need are a lot of attacks. So you can get rid of a foundation card that you feel like you probably won't need and just go for 4, 5, 6 plus attacks in a row to just try and overwhelm your opponent and go for the win.
Yep. And I remember you were looking at the rules. You couldn't find an actual... Was it 40, 50 cards in a deck? But there was no maximum?
So I've pulled up the full rule book, and there is no maximum deck size. You can run as many cards in your deck as you want, as far as I can tell, but it is a 50 card minimum, and that includes your character card. It seems like most people live in the 56 to 65 realm, unless they're playing like a crazy aggro, try and kill, turn 2 kind of style. A lot of decks seem to run a lot of 2 or 3 ofs, and then very specific cards. Ooh, I like this art of this heroic lineage card. It's only a rare, but I like it.
Nice.
So it's definitely something that, as like I kind of work with Bancroft and hopefully Fluff and try and get more people into it. Nick's really enjoyed it after we played it this past week at the shop. Even if I'm just kind of buying stuff and we just play it on the side for fun, then, you know, it'll just be something that we occasionally feature on the channel if you all like it.
And what's great about this game, and a lot of games where you could potentially deck out, it doesn't work out the same way. So you reshuffle your discard pile back into your deck pile, but then you remove the top 10 cards of your deck. So once you get to the point where you can no longer do that, then you have officially decked out.
Correct. There are 2 ways to lose in the game. You either lose all your health or you deck out by refueling your deck 5 or more times. Which is kind of crazy to think. Yeah, so 5 hand size, 35 health, no move. It's a really neat card because its response is commit 1 foundation, which is your mana. Before the damage step of this unblocked attack, reduce it to 6. So if you just don't block, you just reduce it down to 6 regardless of how tall they went on the attack, which is neat.
Okay.
Now I see why people are trying to make that a thing.
My thing about this, also,
we have second Evil Gaze.
Oh, nice.
I got one of those out of the starter decks too.
So response, for example, commit 1 foundation before the damage step of this unblocked attack, reduce the damage by 6. So the thing about that, though, is that if you had 2 foundations, could you theoretically do that twice in 1 turn? Because I think we couldn't find that out either, right?
Right. I couldn't find that out. On this one in particular, you wouldn't want to do it more than once per thing. If it's once per turn, it'll specify once per turn on the card or on the errata of Kirishima, for example. So like on each attack, you can use this response as long as you have a foundation to use.
So I think it was one of the starter decks where there was an effect where if you resolve the block attack, you could put the card immediately into your
foundation.
So the foundation is the row of energy
or
whatever.
mana, yeah. Or your stage or foundation. Home run comet, another rare.
Get the other readers out of here. I'll see a couple more. I'm just curious.
That way we can kind of look through them afterwards. Sticky ball toss tackle. This is my wife's most hated character from the show.
Yeah.
Frozen extra rare.
He has a common card. A very interesting name, I think.
Is it sticky balls?
It's something in that realm. Tomura was right there. I thought I'd put it back in the stack and switch this out.
Yep.
Wow.
There is one thing that I am curious about if anybody watches this that's playing the game that has a collection. The way I usually store my cards in DBS is by color and
Yeah, what do you do?
and energy costs. I have no clue how in the world one would organize their collection for this other than by going by
the numbers. I think that's what you gotta do. I mean, that's how we organize our binders. Well, let's not talk about that stack over there. That's it. That's the card. Eat my sticky balls. Yes.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah, we had a guy at the shop for a little bit who bought into like all of our shops My Hero cards. And people just bought them to flip them, which we weren't aware of at the time. But I didn't know they came in. He was going to the shop like very quickly, like every day almost. And he gave us a bunch of his comments and uncomments. He had just tons of, and that was one of the ones that made me laugh. And it looks like this typically covers like the first season, I think, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does seem to be mostly the first season, which makes a lot of sense because set 2 is kind of around the time that they start their provisional work with the other heroes.
Okay.
Because it's including some of the other villains outside of Shigaraki and Nomu, which are obviously the first villains of the first arc. As they develop the League of Villains. And spoilers, I guess, but the
manga's in an interesting spot right now. The anime is on season 5, I think.
And then so it'll be really something that I've learned also as a way of like allowing them to reuse key characters like Deku and Bakugo and all of them. What they do is they have character 1, so there'll be like Todoroki 2 or Todoroki 3, and it'll have different symbols and different effects, but still be the same character, which is really neat. Like if you're like a big stan of a certain character where you can basically still play the character that you want to play, but completely different play style, because you'll have different symbols and different effects as sets kind of go on. But yeah. I guess that leaves us with these packs. We have Go Beyond here. Quark Pack, we have Capture Evildoers.
Oh, that's a pretty nice card, actually.
It's really pretty. It's got blue and red foiling on it, which is neat. And Kamui Woods.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Glad to have pulled a character out of one of these.
So it's 1 of 5, you said. Of the 5, gotta see the back real quick.
Yep. I don't know if they're listed on there or not.
There are 2 character cards, a foundation card, and 2 attack cards. So your 2 character cards, one's All Might True Form. Is that the skinny version or is that the bulkier?
I think it's
version?
the skinny one.
Then you have the Capture Evildoers, which you pulled, followed up with Amphibious Ambush, and then the Foundation one is Villain's Defeat. So,
All right. So we pulled 6 ultras. We only pulled 3 extra. Oh no, we pulled 4 extra rares. So we're right smack dab in the
so it may not
expected
be.
average.
It may not be a different art then.
So what I've seen as far as these go is for stuff like the commons and uncommons, what they'll usually do is kind of just zoom in on it.
Yeah, because I see this one right there.
Yeah.
So what is he uncommon? Yeah.
Yeah. So this one is just foiling basically. Yeah. But if you get, for example, like the secret rare, if you somehow get the extra secret rare, it has like a Japanese lettering kind of on the side.
That's
like a
very
manga
cool.
panel, which is kind of neat. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. It's been a while since I cracked packs, since I only buy singles for Dragon Ball now.
Well, that means that if you all do enjoy this card game, let us know in the comments. If something you want to see us do more on the channel, let us know. We'll make it happen. I am intrigued in it. Like I said, there is more interactives or more interactions between turns, which is something I like to see. And I guess that's it for today. There's buttons, comments, you know what to do. Read your cards, know your plays, and fluff out.